Okay. Then I suppose it's time to say hello to everybody. Are you one of those people that are here because you are munching again or hitting the candy bars or dipping into the candy corn that's starting to show up in the stores now for Halloween? And if you are and you're looking to eliminate a trigger food, you've come to the right place.
Absolutely.
I'm Holly Pitas, and I'm here with Amber Salembeer, who is going to take over right now.
I'm Amber Salembeer of Knots on Side Within, and welcome. So, this week or this month, I guess, we are doing food craving. So if you're anything like me who, gets drawn to chocolate, or, you're stressed when you're eating, or you go to food when you're eating, when you're stressed, what if it's not your willpower that's keeping that? What if it's emotions that are keeping you attracting those foods? And, food is a vibration. It has a vibration. We're vibrations, and if you've got a certain vibration within you, maybe it's frustration or, sadness that, you're mindlessly going to the cabinets, we can delete the emotions that are contributing to that. So you are no longer eating when you don't want to be, or, you won't have those that shame or that guilt every time you pick up a chocolate bar or anything like that. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are joining us, please put your name and where you're coming from in below. And we're looking for volunteers. So if you'd like to volunteer, we would need your permission. So please give us permission, because I wouldn't enter your house without permission. I certainly wouldn't enter your energy field. We are looking for what's one specific food. So be as specific as possible. Don't say sugar or carbs or gluten. Be specific. Oreo cookies or French fries or, ketchup potato chips. Be as specific as possible, because it helps to clear it when we actually know what it is. And we also like the severity. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how much are you going into that cupboard for those ketchup potato chips? Or, how many times a day are you thinking about or ordering pumpkin spice lattes are the new thing right now with fall coming out?
Yeah, PSL, pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah, how many times a day are you, being drawn to drink that? And you're like, oh, I wish I could just stop. If you're thinking about that with anything food related, you've come to the right place.
Yes, and so for people that are joining us today, just as a reminder, we are here every Monday at noon Eastern, 11 o'clock Central. That's where I'm located, is the Central Time Zone. Amber is in the Eastern time zone. And once we have the food that you want to delete and your severity of it, we are going to use our emotion code chart. I have a chart right behind me here on the wall, and it was developed by Dr. Bradley Nelson, who literally wrote the book on the emotion code. He developed the system, created the system, and he has this chart of common emotions. They're divided into 2 columns and 6 rows, and each row has several emotions listed in them. And so as Amber and I are working on you for today for a volunteer, you'll hear ask ourselves questions like, is it column A, is it column B, is it an even row, or is it an odd row? And what we're doing is whittling down to get to the emotion or group of emotions that are giving you the trouble and triggering those food cravings. And then once we have the ability to identify that emotion, we're going to release it. We'll just negate it. It's an energy vibration that's around you. And what we will do, our energy is a magnetic resonance that we have around our bodies. And so we will be able to negate it using magnets that we are going to use over our governing meridian of our meridian points. And so it's great because it can just release that trigger craving for foods almost immediately. And the reason Amber said that you have to be really specific, there's a difference between an Oreo and a double stuffed Oreo. And so if you're eating the double stuffed and you just call them Oreos, we might not be able to get a complete release for you. So make sure that it is identified fully. And then sometimes in the process, you might switch from having the chocolate Oreos to those vanilla ones that they came out with. So sometimes you just sort of sidestep. I know with myself, when I'm trying to give up lattes, not the pumpkin spice, just the regular ones, I went from grinding my own beans and making it in a French press to getting by with instant coffee. And so it's not the original latte that I wanted to give up, but I was stuck for a little while on the ones with the instant coffee. So actually, for all of you purists out there, the fact that I'm drinking instant coffee or have been drinking instant coffee probably sounds terrible. But it just switched for me. So we had to do a little bit more releasing, and then now it doesn't matter if I have one or I don't have one. And that's, I think, another interesting point. It doesn't become, whatever food you give up does not become offensive. It doesn't taste bad or taste off to you. You're just literally not interested in it any longer.
Some might, although some might taste bad. I know for chocolate, for me, it's starting to taste bad, and I don't know why, but it actually does. So even though I've cleared the craving, once in a while I'll grab it just out of habit, and then I'll start eating it. I'm like, oh, this actually, why am I eating this? Like, this doesn't bring me joy anymore that I thought that it brought me joy, and I think it all depends on the person. So for you, it might not, Holly, taste differently, but certain foods for me have started to taste differently. And I'm like, oh, well, and then, that's step one for me, is it starts tasting weird. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm still going to drink this, or I'm still going to eat this, even though, because that craving is still there. Clearly I need more work to do. And then I'll, do another layer, because it's all done in layers, right? Like, if you think of everything that we go through, we're like onions. And so by peeling off the different layers, there's no judgment. I tell my clients, even though, we've brought you down a bit, there's no judgment. Just be aware of what's going on, that, oh, we didn't clear this for you today. Doesn't mean that, maybe it takes 2 or 3 more sessions and then it'll be cleared. But just be mindful, if you're still getting, into the chips or the chocolate, just be mindful. That goes a little deeper for me. That one, whereas some things it's just one emotion and you're good to go. Like, it's incredible as to what emotions are attracting what food.
Yes, it is. It is amazing. And sometimes too, when we have that emotion or the emotional place that we have deposited our emotions, we might clear some of them out, but there might still be more there. And so either more that are existing or new ones develop. If we release an emotion of anger, and then you go and have somebody, road rage or something, I know just where to go. It's going to go to that Oreo cookie pile somewhere in your emotional framework. So there's lots of different opportunities for these things and these emotions to get triggered. Sometimes I think about it like cleaning an attic, and you've got a bunch of stuff up there, and you're kind of comfortable with the stuff because it's always been there, and you know that if you ever need to find it, it's probably going to be in the attic. Yet if you actually do go in to clean your attic, you'll open up trunks or boxes or piles of things, and you'll see things, and it's like, oh, I forgot that this was here, or oh, I've now found this. I didn't realize that this was here. And some of them are treasures, and some of them are a lot of junk that just need to be thrown away. And so some of these trapped emotions can get trapped sometimes from some big event, a big traumatic event, or sometimes it can be a very minor event, something that you don't even remember, yet you've put it in your trunk and you're carrying it around.
Yeah, I'm a suppressor of emotions. I think a lot of us are. We weren't taught as kids how to, process emotions. We weren't taught how to deal with them. push it down, right? So if you get angry at someone, you don't have that voice to speak out, you suppress it. And then, at the end of the day, you're like, oh, I'm really stressed. Well, what is stress? Stress is a bunch of emotions, and, they're triggering different parts of you. So stress is on a mind, body, and soul aspect, because you're suppressing emotions, which, trigger other systems within your body, your fight or flight systems and your central nervous systems. And then, you're going around in this cycle. Well, what happens if you take away the emotions? You won't be going through that cycle as much anymore, and slowly, given the tools and putting you in the right direction, you can start to feel better and less stress. So even though the work hasn't changed, your perception and how you're reacting to it definitely does. So we would love for you to volunteer. Comment below where you're coming from. If you want to volunteer, we just need to know, give us permission, what specific food item that you would like us to work on, and the severity of it, 1 to 10. I'll do myself if we have no volunteers at the moment, because there's always food for me to clear. I love food. Who doesn't love food? But then, you start eating too much of it, right? So I've just been going through and cutting out all my favorite foods that I've relied on. And I think today is the day that we're going to clear French fries. French fries. I'm sure if my husband heard that, he'd be like, no, she's not.
That's a big one.
No, she's not. So I'll clear French fries from you.
No, and it's, and okay, that sounds like a good one. So do you want to do that quietly, or do you want to demonstrate how you're going to clear it, Amber?
I can do it out loud. I mean, I can do it out loud. I will show everybody how to do it. So I'm going to connect. Okay. So my name is Amber. My name is Holly. My name is Amber. So my conscious mind was just talking about my love of French fries and how I can't believe I'm clearing French fries, let's be honest, but I'm clearing French fries. It is one of my absolute favorite foods. I love the smell of it. I love the taste of it. Salt on it, with gravy on it. I love French fries. How many trapped emotions are causing me to crave, to desire, to want to eat French fries? Under 5, 10, 15, 20. Of course there are. There are 20 emotions that are causing me to want. So anytime one of these 20 emotions come up, it's going to want one of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've narrowed it down as to which ones they are, and I'm going to start clearing them.
Okay, and so while Amber is clearing them, some of the other aspects of having this in a fixed and efficient manner. So because we both studied Dr. Bradley Nelson's program, we are able to distinguish these emotions rather quickly. He does give some examples in his book of how you can work on yourself. And actually that's how Amber and I both started, but then we wanted to take it a little bit further and actually go through the certification process. So we are able to do the program quickly. So for example, in a few minutes here, Amber's going to have her French fry addiction dissipate. And so, you might be saying, wow, how did that happen? And it's really just, this matter of, for some reason, one day when she was having a French fry, it either served some sort of emotional fulfillment purpose for her, or it was during some sort of emotional stressful time she reached for the French fries. And so then anytime her psyche starts to feel a little nervous or needing something, the first thought she's going to have is to say, oh, if I have a French fry, it's going to make me feel better, which is really not true. It can be a momentary fleeting thing, but you eat too many French fries and you're going to not be so happy with yourself. So by being able to reach into her subconscious, which is really like our master computer, and it remembers everything that has ever happened. It's just like the hard drive on your computer. Every site you've ever visited, every form that you've ever filled out is remembered on your hard drive. And so that is how our subconscious mind works. Everything is there. So, and once the subconscious develops a system, then it wants to just continue to replay the system just autonomically. Just like we breathe, but we don't think about breathing, where our heart beats, but we don't think about our heart beating or trying to regulate our circulation system. It's all handled by the subconscious. So that is what happens with our negative emotions that get trapped, is they just go into the subconscious, and subconscious says, okay, French fries worked. We're going to just keep reaching for French fries. And so by identifying not so much the time that it happened, but just that there was an event that happened that made her reach for the French fries, she's going to bring up all those different emotions that are connected with it. She's going to release them. And it could be that if we would put a plate of French fries in front of her in 10 minutes, she might say, yeah, no, I'm really not interested in them. It could be that it will take a couple of days for her to process. Who knows, maybe she encounters a road rage event and she goes out to a restaurant and she says, okay, you know what, I'm upset, I'm going to get some French fries. And she'll get the French fries, and it's like, these really aren't satisfying that emotional need the way they used to. And then suddenly the French fries can just be gone from her life. So how are you feeling, Amber?
Very good. Very good. I pulled out defensiveness, an inherited defensiveness from my father going back 18 generations. So, I mean, that's a huge, like, think about that, 18 generations of defensiveness that came down my family line.
Mm-hmm.
That was contributing to me eating French fries. And it's not that we're not restricting these foods, right? It's like, you're going through the store and, you have two options and they're slightly different and you like this one and it's okay, but you go after this one because you're really craving it. Well, it's just to get you back down to this level so that you're not completely craving it, so that you're not feeling like you have no power over this food. So we just release, you take 2 chocolate bars, right? Identical. You take this brand, and they're identical, but you like this one more. And so, instead of, you can just walk by both of them and not have to pick either of them up and be okay with the fact that you don't have to have them, and change those habits. Because a lot of the times it's habits, but a lot of the times it's not. And so by clearing all of the stuff that is attracting it, you go right back to the beginning where you're like, yeah, I can have it. I cannot have it. It's really no difference. Like, you just become indifferent to it. And I think that's what I like about it, is that, it just kind of becomes a distant memory. What's so huge part of your life right now just becomes a distant memory, and it's not painful. It's not, having to restrict it or, stay away from it. You can have it in your house. You just don't want it anymore. And you're like, yeah, okay. So yeah, 18.
Yeah, I think a good way of saying it is that 18 generations, yes, and that old expression of the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, just like you can inherit some, eye color or hair color or physical shape from your parents, you can also inherit some of their nature. And sometimes the nature is these trapped emotions. But so, Amber, we do have Kate Lilibeth visiting with us today, and she is wondering if we can omit a drink for her, Coca-Cola. And so I would like to be able to do that for Kate and work on that. I'm going to drink a little bit of water. I don't think had a chance to say that in the beginning, that because our bodies are made up of so much water, we're, I think, 90% water. So we need to have some water to help process our connection and process the emotions.
Yes, it just helps the process by allowing the flow to go more easily is to, drink more water. Make sure that you're hydrated so that everything kind of flows. Because what we're doing is we're working with your chi energy, right? And it goes up and down the meridians, your chakras and everything else. And what happens is, if you can picture it like a stream, you have these streams going through your body, and these emotions get released from the organs. So, your liver, for example, releases anger. And so, you woke up in the morning and you stubbed your toe and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have put that, whatever in the way so that you didn't stub your toe. So you've got this anger and it gets released from your liver. Now it has a choice. It can either stay within the liver, and a lot of the times that's where we may have liver issues, is because we keep all of these emotions around the area, or it gets released and it either can go up and get processed, because energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transmuted and changed. So it needs to be processed, or it goes to the weakest link. And that could be your shoulder. And now, a week, a year, 10 years, you now have this shoulder pain that, these emotions have been gravitating towards, right? And it's like little balls of energy that create a blockage. So now you have this blockage in your shoulder area from all of these emotions, and the energy is not able to flow. And so, it's like putting a big boulder in a stream. It's got to go around somehow, right? Everything flows. So it's got to go around. So it's going to go up, out of the stream and into the side channels. And so what's going to happen is it's going to come out of our energy and go and affect our physical body. And we don't think about this. We were never taught any of this, as children, as to what happens when we don't process our emotions. So, as new science comes out and, new learnings come out, it's important for us to know, how do our bodies actually work? What are our different energy fields and, the different systems within our bodies? Because once we can understand that, then we have a better understanding of how we can treat ourselves better and what self-care actually looks like. So Holly is clearing emotions, and, we're putting it down the governing meridian, because that's the center meridian. That's the main meridian throughout our body. And so it's helping to, with the intention to release these, it's helping that by allowing it to flow. So we pull it out, we pull out this energy ball to our the top of our energy field, and then we release it. We set the intention to the highest intention to clear that. And for people like myself who can't feel energy, people who can feel energy, can actually feel this coming to the surface and be released, just like when we're clearing ancestral stuff, right? So myself, I don't see spirits and ancestors and I guess spirits like that. I'm not a channeler, but I've had a lot of my clients who they have them in the room, right? So for me, it was 18 generations that we just cleared of my defensiveness. All of my father's familiar line, or paternal line, sorry, would all be in that room with me as I was clearing. And, I've had clients who say that their ancestors have thanked them as they're, moving on. But that's massive. If you can clear your DNA out of stuff, that's massive, because what are you passing on, right? And so I find that to be incredibly powerful. But if I can clear it for me, then I'm clearing it going forward into my own kids, into their kids and their kids, right?
Okay, so working on Kate, and I just sent her a message to say, how are you feeling during the session? Sometimes people feel a little tingly, sometimes they feel giddy, sometimes I was with a session the other day, they started to cry, just tears. And sometimes people get hot or cold or tired, and sometimes people don't feel anything. And so, Kate, I'm wondering if you could drop us a note and let me know how you're feeling. And the interesting thing too is, if you have a Coke by your side, take a sip. see if it tastes any different to you.
See if you want it anymore.
So, Yeah. And so I am going to work just a little bit more on Kate. Amber, if that's okay with you, I'm going to just keep going. So Amber is going to keep talking and telling us more about how wonderful this system is.
Yes. So I'm also body code. So when Dr. Bradley came up with the emotion code deals, with asking questions and releasing emotions. The body code goes a little further. And so, we can find out nutritional deficiencies, or, maybe you need to add something to your diet. Structural. So, putting the body back into alignment. Like your liver could be out and you have no idea, right? And maybe that's why, some of the muscles in your body are hurting is, well, it turns out your liver is actually not in the spot that it's supposed to be in. And so on an energetic level, we test all of your systems. We check to see, how is your hypothalamus doing? How is your pituitary glands doing? Because on an energetic level, it kind of gives us an idea as to how your physical level is doing. You could have a circuitry issue so that not everything is firing at 100% like it's supposed to. And so it's checking those systems and making sure that, we get rid of the blockages that are causing them to not function at 100%, and then essentially hitting the reset button so that they are functioning at 100%. You could have some sort of energy, whether it's a curse or an entity, or, all of our emotions are all energies. And so there could be something like that is going on. So we work on all sorts of different ailments. It's not just food or not just pain. I've got clients who have acid reflux. They've got pain within their body and they just want something better. Headaches, migraines, feeling anxious about anything or anything. Are some of the things that I work with my clients with to try and get rid of the emotions, because emotions are the root cause, right? So if your liver is out of alignment, chances are it's because you've got some sort of trapped emotion that got stuck in that space and that it's kind of pushing it out of alignment.
All right, so I have completed my session with Kate. And so Kate, I certainly hope that is working well for you. Do let us know. I'm looking to see again in the comments. Sometimes I have to refresh a little bit and see if I can find them. So thank you for letting us know how you're doing. And if you're not able to do that today, if you can check back with us either during the week, leave a message on the Get Feeling Better page, or if you could join us next week and tell us that you've not had any Cokes, that's always exciting to know. Our goal is always, if the severity is a 10, our goal is to get it down to a 0. Yet sometimes if it was an 8 and it goes down to a 4, that's still a big improvement. And so lots of times people can feel that. And so Kate just said thank you. So that's great, Kate. And she said she will report back. So we're going to be excited to hear the benefits that Kate's feeling by being able to drop her Coke habit. That'll be great.
Yeah, we love hearing from everyone. Come back and let us know. I usually check in with everyone that I've worked on. So, I worked on Pam and around her Pepsi, and she no longer desires Pepsi. And I worked with Joshua with his hash browns, and he no longer is wanting hash browns. And a couple weeks ago, I worked with somebody who wanted Reese's Buttercups, and now they no longer want Reese's Buttercups. So it's pretty amazing that, one session and you can get rid of that craving that you've had for, years even, just by.
Yeah, and I think it's funny what we do crave. Like yeah. So it's funny. I think we have a little delay with our internet connection, but some people crave the Oreo. Some people, a couple weeks ago, we worked on Erica and she had white cheddar popcorn, which is pretty darn specific. And then also, chips and bread are common ones, but sometimes, you have to also identify the bread. Is that, a buttered roll? Is that rye bread? Is it a sourdough bread? Is it, a European crusted French bread? It can be very, very specific. So Amber, I see that we're approaching the end of our half hour here. And so I think it's just so much fun to do these. Amber and I can both do additional things. The emotion code is almost limitless in terms of working with, pains or procrastinations or problems with relationships. Doing the food demonstration is something that's pretty quick and easy. And so, but if you suppose you're having a difficulty with your relationships or advancing in your career, we can help you with those things, and we would love to be able to do it. Sometimes that takes a little bit extra time. You can't just do it off in a minute. And so do be sure to visit Amber at herreleaseemotions.com. You're probably signing in today from her Knots Untied Within Facebook page. And I am at Get Feeling Better, both .com and Facebook. And we will also be back here next week, Monday, same time, same place. And so do join us. And Amber, I will have you take it away.
Yes, absolutely. I look forward to working with Holly every week. I also do Wednesday evenings. I've started last week by myself. So, if you're looking for some relief during the week, then come visit on Wednesdays. I believe it's at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Last week we did pain. I think I'm going to do pain again. So if you've got some pain within the body and you just would like some relief, then come visit my Facebook page at Knots Untied Within. So thank you so much for joining us. I really enjoy this time to be able to help other people and, work with Holly. It's such a pleasure.
Likewise, Amber. We're a fun
Bye, guys.
team. So, all right, everybody, we will see you next week.